Hi everybody, this is Keith Curtis. I am going to demonstrate a script I've been working on today that attempts to improve and expand the capabilities of the Roll20 Jukebox. So although the Jukebox is fine for overall organization and playing and stopping tracks, it does fall a little bit short from my use cases for it, in that the only thing I really have to identify what a track sounds like is what playlist I put it in and the title, and those are not always the best indicators to remind me. Also, I can't have the same track in multiple playlists without duplicating it, and it can run into some organizational problems. So, with that in mind, I have created Jukebox Plus. So once the script is installed, you run it by just typing !JB for Jukebox into the chat, and it gives you this little thing to open the Jukebox Plus handout. So I'm going to enlarge this. Unfortunately, this is the default size that handouts come in. So the first thing to do is to enlarge it a bit. And you can see that it starts off by reading my playlists. So you can see, for instance, in my playlists, I have a music playlist, I have a scenes tracks playlist, and I have an environment playlist. So those are all showing there on the left-hand side under playlists. And let's go back to the chat. So those automatically populate, and from here I can, once I can see them, I can play a track. So let's go ahead and play Burnt Spirit by Kevin MacLeod. This is a track that comes with your Roll20 game. So you can, hopefully that comes over through the microphone. So that is playing. Let me stop it. And all of these can respond to these controls. You can play, you can set tracks to loop. There is an isolate button, so if you have multiple tracks playing at once, you can stop the other tracks and just play that one. Let's say I went a little crazy and I started playing 3 different tracks at once. Gets a little cacophonous. I just want to hear Cortosis by Kevin MacLeod. So I isolate, and now that is the only one playing. All right, so there's a couple of differences here between just using this and the Roll20 Jukebox. First of all, you'll see that underneath all of these, or a lot of these, there are tags. These tags are what I call albums. And most of the ones in music have been added to the Battle album. And you can see that if I click over to the albums view, I now have all of the albums that I have set up. So there are all of the tracks that I have tagged to be in the Battle album. I have an Ambiance album, and you can see that some of these are in the environment playlist, some of them are in the music playlist. If I saw that, oh, this one's in the spooky playlist, I wonder what my spooky soundtrack or album has in it. I can just click on that tag, and now I'm in the spooky album, and I can see all of my spooky soundtracks. So I've gone through and I have added, I'm still in the process of putting all of these in, but I have added all kinds of tracks that I might, or albums that I might find useful for different purposes. So for instance, if they're going to visit the elves, I want some of my soundtracks that sound particularly good with elves to be available. You'll also notice that there are some more differences between this and the regular jukebox, in that some of them, let's go ahead and delete that. Some of them have images and a description on them, and those are added through Jukebox Plus. They all stay in a database. So let's go ahead and do this for the Docks District. Let's go ahead and play it, see what it sounds like. This is, hopefully you can hear that. some seabirds, some waves lapping. This is an ambiance soundtrack. It is also what I would call a townscapes, where a ambiance for when you're in a particular place in a town. So let's go ahead and stop that for now, and let's add it to the ambiance. And let's also add it to the townscapes. Go ahead and click that. Now, if we go over to the townscapes album, you can see that it has been added there. I want to add a description, and I want to add an image. So to add a description, there's a little thing down here. It says click to add description. I'm going to say, lovely day at the harbor, no music. Just to remind me that it's just to set a setting. It's not to evoke necessarily a mood. So now that says lovely day at the harbor, no music, I can edit that by clicking the little edit button afterwards. And I want to add an image, and I have pre-searched an image here. So anything that's on the internet, anything that has a URL, you can right-click, you can copy the image address, and you can paste that URL into there, and now it appears as part of that track. And you will see that is also true wherever it displays, whether it's in an album or a playlist. Also, let's say this is playing and you want to share this feeling that you have evoked. There's a little share button next to every track name. You can just click on that and it sends to chat a now playing that shows the image you've chosen, the title of the track, and whatever little description you've gone there. And this is sent to the players so that they can see it as well. You can play multiple tracks at once. Let's go ahead and let's say combat breaks out. All right, let's go to battle. Let's say that, it's a nice wild combat. Maybe you're a fan of Critical Role. This is a soundtrack that they've used a lot by Kevin MacLeod, Volatile Reaction, also available through your Roll20 account. And let's go ahead and play that as well. So now combat has broken out and we have a bit of battle music going on there. Now that we have multiple tracks playing, we can click on the Now Playing button and it will show us that we have 2 tracks playing at once. If I said, okay, combat is over, but we're still at the docks, I can isolate the docks, and now just the docks is playing. Whenever you see multiple tracks in an album, you can play all. There's some control buttons up here that affect everything. There's a play all button that will play every showing track, maximum of 5. I just hardwired that in because I thought it could get a little crazy if there wasn't a hard cap on that. So I can play, let's say they're in the stables by the docks, so now I'm playing both of those tracks at once. I can go back and say, oh, they've left the stables, but they're still down at the docks. I can isolate that. I can also say that these should just play continuously in the background, so I'm going to loop all of them. And now when they are played, they will continuously loop. I decide afterwards, no, I don't want that. I can unloop all of them. There are some more things here. There is a full help system. If you click the little help button here, it automatically shows you what all of the controls do and gives you some useful macros at the bottom for playing a particular track or stopping all tracks, that sort of thing. Return to the player. There are some settings over here. There's a little flip down menu. From here you can edit albums, you can edit the name, you can delete an album, or you can add an album. If you don't like dark mode, there's a light mode. And now if I click Stables by Tabletop Audio, for instance, we get a light mode reminder, or a light mode now playing. Let's go back to the dark mode. If ever you run into problems, this is a very complicated way that it is interacting with the Roll20 database for what is in your jukebox and keeping it in the state memory of the script. If you ever run into problems, refresh button will usually clear up most issues. If, for instance, it has forgotten that you have added a track, or it is just not displaying things as you suspect it should, clicking refresh will often fix things. That will fix it. And there's also a backup function. If you have all of your stuff set up and you say, this is great, but I want to use it in every game, you can make a backup. It will tell you that a backup has been created. It backs up to a handout, and you can make multiple backups. They're all sequentially numbered, so the highest number is usually the latest. And you can see that all of your data is safely stored in a backup. You can transmogrify or copy that handout to another game. When you get into that other game, you can install Jukebox Plus. You can click Restore. It will look through your journal tabs for Jukebox backups, and it will ask which one you want to use. You choose which one you want to use, submit. I'm not going to do it right now. And that will do its best to try and match tracks with IDs in your new game. The difficulty here is that every track has an associated ID number, and those IDs will change from game to game. Every time you install a track fresh, it assigns a different ID. So it goes through the new game, it looks for each name, tries to match it to a track, and it does its best. It'll get most of them, but you'll probably have to do a little bit of back and forth if you really want it to be picture perfect. And that is pretty much most of the features here. This is, like I said, it's still got a little bit of polish. There are a couple of bugs that I can't get rid of because they're pretty much on the Roll20 side on how they handle data. For instance, if you click a track and it doesn't play, there is a bug sometimes where if you don't manually start and stop a track, Roll20 cannot see it with the API, and it will not start and stop there. If you click something and it doesn't play, find it in your jukebox, press play, stop, and then it should work just fine. So that is Jukebox Plus. This will be in one click as soon as I finish polishing up the last little bits. And there will be a forum thread that explains it. If you're seeing this on YouTube, I will have a link to that in the notes. So have fun and listen to a lot of cool music.